Hello, everyone, and welcome to Constellation Conversations. My name is Linda Comeau, and super excited to be doing these interviews. They're so informative, so fun, and they're like personal lessons for all of us. If you would like more information about our conference, of course, I should mention that the theme of the conference is Bridging the Divide, Healing the Personal and Collective Soul, and you can find more information at nasconstellations.org. And today I'm absolutely delighted to interview Katherine Revoir. Using her topic is using constellations to improve your love life, how adult attachment styles affect the flow of love. How interesting. Welcome, Katherine.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. It's actually attachment styles, not adult styles.
Oh.
But you know, it's the same thing. So it's interchangeable. Adult styles, attachment styles.
I was reading it. It's a long title, so I guess I missed that word.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just even attachment attachment styles affect the flow of love. That's what we're all up to. So this is so exciting. Before we start, though, I want to go back to one of my favorite questions. Katherine, if you're at a cocktail party and you're with some strangers, how do you describe constellations to a stranger?
Sometimes I can't because it's like my head just gets filled with like everything. And so I have to kind of like bring it in and okay, so let's bring it in. We're all born into a family system, and each family system goes back thousands of generations. And there's a guidebook or a rule book for belonging in each family system that gets very clearly put into us by the time we're 2 years old. So our little brains are so wired to belong, so wired to be accepted and loved and belong in a family, that we will basically do anything to have that happen. So we know what's acceptable, we know what we can do, what we can't do by the time we're 2 years old. And then of course it just goes on from there. And so in the process of our reaching out for love, which is what we do continuously as infants and children, when that gets interrupted by a primary caregiver who's not available, we basically rework ourselves in order to be accepted. And that behavior becomes an entanglement. And in the course of the entanglement, we cut ourselves off from our own essential self in our attempt to reach out for love. And then those entanglements kind of, as we get older, poison the water of our relationships, causing self-sabotaging behavior. And then we wonder, why do I have this self-sabotaging behavior? Maybe I'll do a constellation and I'll be able to get a bird's eye view of what caused it and get some more choice around it.
Oh, that's lovely. And it's so perfect. It leads perfectly into your topic. So tell us about your workshop.
Well, it's called whatever, Using Constellations to Improve Your Love Life, How Adult Attachment Styles Affect the Flow of Love. It could really be called Using Constellations to Improve all of your life, of every relationship in your life. And those, that connecting that we do when we're infants is our dance of relationality, and that becomes our attachment style. We take on the brain patterns of our parents. And although sometimes that's kind of hard to hear for some people, including myself, that's what we do. And so people that are attachment researchers have found that as early as 4 months of age, we are reading our parents' expressions and learning what's acceptable and what's not, and then cutting ourselves off in different ways from who we truly are. So we develop an attachment style that is the same as our parents, because we copy our parents. Our parents are like gods to us. And then, so understanding attachment styles helps us to look at these entanglements that we have, that we learn in constellations, and figure out where the entanglement comes from, because it has to come from the family system. That's how we learn how to be ourselves. And so we take on the attachment style that our parents have. Even though we can have many different kind of styles going on, we usually kind of land in one main style. So there's secure attachment, which is the, that's the golden egg. If we were looking at a Goldilocks metaphor, that would be the porridge that's just right. It's just warm enough. It's not too hot and it's not too cold. And having that kind of a relationship with a primary parent is going to bring us a secure relationship style. And that's where there's just the right amount of linkage and differentiation. So we come together and then we come apart and we have good boundaries and we go along about life and everything looks great. If we have parents that are more avoidant in terms of closeness and intimacy, that's called avoidant attachment. And if intimacy is tough for them, then it'll be tough for us. And how we go about living our lives and choosing partners will be reflected in our attachment style. So if we're in an avoidantly attached family, which I was, it was kind of like an emotional desert, and all the needs were taken care of and dinner was on the table at 6 o'clock every night, but there was no emotional connection. So, and then there's ambivalent attachment, where there is a sense of anxiousness in the relationship, and then if that's what our family was like, where there was a little bit hard to trust what was going to happen, then that also shows up in our intimate relationships. And so, and then it kind of goes on a continuum down from there to disorganized attachment, where there is chaos. There is sometimes it can be controlling, punitive behavior, or it can be over smothering behavior, depending on whether it's more right-brained focused, which would be more smothering and not knowing the boundaries between the parent and the child, or if it was more left-brain, then it would be going toward the more controlling kind of militaristic parenting, which is what my father did. And then we end up choosing those kinds of partners and then wonder why we do.
Right.
Because we all want to have secure attachments. So the beauty about constellations is that a constellation will point us in the direction of the entanglement, but in order to kind of resolve the entanglement, if we have an understanding of our attachment style, then what we can do is we have resource to be able to change it. So if we in the workshop, we're going to be getting an understanding of our attachment styles and those of our previous partners. We'll do a little meditation about, a little walk back into history, just a short one, to get a sense of a pattern of attachment styles.
That's very exciting. So would perhaps a married couple come also and gain something, not just a single person, let's say, for dealing with former partners? Would a couple be able to look at their attachment styles and see what attracted them, and I guess make some progress in the intimacy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because having getting some insights about our attachment styles and the attachment styles of our partners helps us to comprehend their behavior. It's like, you know, I, as an avoidantly attached person, was married to an avoidantly attached man, and I wanted emotional intimacy, but I just couldn't understand why he was so cold and he was so distant. Well, as I started to really study this, I went, oh, I'm kind of cold and I'm kind of distant. And so we can have a deeper, get deeper meaning into our partner's behavior. And also the good news from an interpersonal neurobiology standpoint is that our fibers of connection that have to do with attachment are very neuroplastic. We can change them. We can change our attachment style. That's what I've been doing for myself as a result of studying this and doing the constellation work together, because they work so well together. And I can say in my own experience that I'm single and I've been dating for a while, and I am sure that I am looking for a secure attachment. Now, I didn't grow up in that planet, but that's what I'm looking for, and I'm changing, shifting my own attachment style so that I am more securely attached.
Very interesting. Oh my gosh, I have a million questions. Let me ask you then. Would you also then do some coaching after you work with a couple to help the love flow a little better? Or yes, okay.
Absolutely. You know, one thing that I do in my work, and I have to thank my teacher, Sarah Payton, for this, and she'll be at the workshop, yay, and
Yay.
she'll be giving a presentation, is that I have learned to combine the constellation work with nonviolent communication, which is simply an intention to connect in a compassionate way with others. And how we speak to each other, how we ask for what we need or don't ask for what we need, serves to, you know, to point to how the relationship is working. So if we have a deeply intimate relationship with our partner, and we have deep love for them, but it's really hard for us to ask for what we need or what we want, then there's going to be, like, that causes an entanglement. And that probably came from a family system part of us, a lineage part of us. So as we see that, we see, oh my God, my mother never could ask for what she wanted. She was always passive aggressive. To do that, oh, I can change that in myself.
Oh, that is so exciting. So then you can kind of heal relationships with your parents by observing this, as well as with your intimate partners and perhaps children even.
Absolutely. As I said, you know, why not use myself as an example? I have two children. My children are 44 and 33, and I raised them in the same style that I was raised in, because that's what we do unless we work really hard to change it. And so I raised them in an avoidantly attached place. So now here I am, more of a secure attachment, and I'm going, oh, come on, kids, let's be closer. Let's have more deep, meaningful connections. I would love that. I want to be more intimate, because that's what happens as we change our brain pattern. We want to be more intimate with people that we love. And so I'm like, come on, let's be closer. And they're kind of like, you know, I'm good with the way it is, Mom. Really, I'm good, you know.
Oh my gosh.
That's my example.
How beautiful, but brilliant. I mean, really, look at how well a human is looking to preserve their attachments,
Yes.
their current perspectives.
Yes, it's how we love each other. We learn how to love each other from our parents.
Yes.
And so to change that, you know, it takes a little work, but we can do it.
Yes.
And I'll be talking a little bit about that, about how um, uh, the heart of well-being that's described by just about anybody, whether it's a psychologist or whether it's interpersonal neurobiologists or, almost any field in mindfulness. The heart of well-being has to do with being compassionate, being empathic, having emotional resilience, and having a brain that's integrated.
And courage. Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Oh, so I was going to ask you why come to the conference, but I think your whole presentation blends beautifully with bridging the divide, the theme, healing the personal collective soul, as well as why come to the conference. Oh my gosh, this is so brilliant. Your group's going to be so well packed. I hope you get a big room.
Thank
One of
you.
the biggest quests of our life, right? To be understood and loved and have that
Yes.
attachment.
Yeah, I think, what's more important in our life than meaningful connection? And I was been thinking about the whole idea of bridging the gap, and I think that's the bridge. I think meaningful, loving, deep connection is really why we're here. I think I tend to have a spiritual perspective of life. I'm a minister. I've done this work for a very long time, and I'm just so grateful that I've done 40 years of work that has gotten me to a place where I can hold somebody's lineage in the palm of my hand and just companion them through this walk through this forest of how to have deeper, more meaningful connections. So yeah, come to the conference. That's what we're all doing. And all these wonderful facilitators and masters from all over the world coming together. It's just, I'm
Yes.
excited.
Oh, I am too. It's an opportunity to really blossom and be so less stressed. I was thinking today, what is one of the things I do? And I would say it's helping people be less stressed and be more of their authentic self. It's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to add? I'm just gobsmacked that we went through, I don't know, about 15 minutes already.
Thank my teachers. Thank the universe. Every morning, getting up and saying, thank you, God, for allowing me to do this beautiful work of contribution.
Oh, thank you, Katherine Revoir. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased to have met you. I can't wait to meet you at the conference. Thank you so much for your time. And to our committed listeners and devotees, please check our website. You can see more about Katherine's workshop at nas.org. And have a great day, everyone. We'll see you at the conference October 5th to 8th in Virginia Beach. Thanks again, Katherine.
Thank you, Linda.